Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sharice Gibson. Karen is off tonight. Now, for the last 2 weeks, eyewitness investigator David Hammer has been uncovering city data showing building inspectors were not showing up for key inspections of major construction projects. Now, this includes the Hard Rock Hotel that was before it collapsed in October. Well, today, on the heels of David's reports, the city announced a complete overhaul of its Safety and Permits Department. Here's David with that story.
Multiple locations.
On Monday, Mayor LaToya Cantrell's chief administrative officer said enough was enough.
We are starting anew. This is a complete overhaul of the organization from almost top to bottom. And we want to ensure the public that we're taking and advising all our future employees the importance and the nature of responsibility of this job.
Gilbert Montano announced the demotion of Safety and Permits Director Zach Smith, the creation of 2 new oversight positions, and an effort to hire brand new city inspectors.
How many inspectors do we have, and can they meet the demand?
We have a shallow bench, and I want to be completely candid with the community in that regard. We have 4 inspectors currently. We're certainly advertising, and we're
They have commercial certification, those 4?
No, not all.
Montano said drastic measures were necessary to address bad actors in the city's permitting office.
It is taking on a very and deep, pervasive nature within the agency.
We used GPS data to track Inspector Julie Tweeter's city vehicle and found she took it home when she wasn't supposed to and didn't drive it to dozens of inspections.
I mean, that kind of track record is...
It's unconscionable. It really is. It's a travesty, and that speaks to that systemic and overly concerned problems that we've been dealing with over the course of the last few years, and even in some cases much longer than that.
We reported exclusively on a secret recording of an inspectors meeting in September. Montano said he was suspicious that building official Larry Chan told his staff to go to inspections and take their own photos of jobs just 2 days after we reported the department was under federal investigation.
In some ways, it looks like someone is covering themselves, and that concerns me.
And is that why you suspended him later that day?
He was suspended later that day because he was in the middle of investigations, multiple investigations. And frankly, from my perspective, I was and I am at the point where I have no toleration.
David Hammer, Eyewitness News.
Montano declined to say how Larry Chan was implicated in the criminal investigations. David asked Larry Chan for a response, but he declined to comment.